So we're getting into gardening season. Finally stopped raining up here in the Pacific Northwest, and haven't made a garden video yet. So this one, we're gonna go all the way back to March and just show some quick shots of what happened on getting this garden ready to go. Show you what's happened this year. All right, Chair. It's planting time. We got the seed starting. Now here you'll notice what we've got. Put it on a heat mat. Oh, also we've got some other items. I did pick up some potatoes. I have potatoes from last year that I'll be using, some seed potatoes. But I like to always keep a variety, so got some other potatoes here. I didn't have much in the way of russets, so I got some more russets and some onion sets. Now here's something I picked up for the, it's actually for the pole barn. Molcajete. That's the third day on the seed tray. And the seeds are popping out. Actually, I noticed it on the small tray this morning. I swapped their position. Scarlet Clovers finally really growing now that spring is sprung. It was almost twice this tall last year because we had such a mild season. It's places here it's about a foot deep. Yeah, a little over a foot deep. So I'm going to be using this to chop it down. And I got to get it mixed into the soil. And I'll work around some of the things I left in here, like some chives, and there's some onions and garlic down there. So I'll kind of work around that. See how this works. Get her turned in later. Alright, here at the lower garden. Now we've got the Agribon fabric over the areas where we're growing cooler crops, lettuce, broccoli, similar. So they don't like the heat. We're kind of getting into the heat now. The peppers, tomatoes down the other end, they won't be covered up. Obviously they like the heat. Also the rocket, also known as arugula, will be down on that end. Yeah, and covered up the strawberry plant pod here because we're actually starting to get fruits really ripening up. I was surprised. I was looking at it yesterday. There's nothing, and today, let's see if you can see that. Yeah, there you can see that. So it's really starting to ripen up. Birds go nuts for that. Wipe it out in a heartbeat. Yeah. I haven't planted this section over here. You can see down there where there's some that's been planted. Most of that was actually a fall planting, though there's some additions here for the spring. So I'll be planting all this first half here in the morning. Taking out that tomato plant in the middle. That was just kind of a test. Tomato plants I wanted didn't make it. The tomato plants I really didn't want to make it, they all made it. So yeah, this is life. Yeah, and this is peppermint. Next one is lemon balm. Oh, I wish you could smell it. It smells wonderful. Of course, peppermint does too. Probably my favorite smell is the, this is chocolate mint. And beautiful. You can actually see it's a little darker. Has a richer aroma to it than regular peppermint. Has some other notes in it. Very pleasant. Unfortunately, it really tastes the same when you make tea out of it as regular peppermint. So I was kind of hoping it would have a different flavor. This basil almost died, so yeah, peppers are doing well. I think they're really starting to dig in now. What we've had in the past, peppers being up, 3-4 feet tall. They've been really wonderful. So looking forward to that. Notice again, some of these are onions, bunching onions I left in there. Planted some new leeks. Love leeks. Miniature garden this year. Always I like to plant lettuce. I got plenty of worm compost here, so I like make a little trench. Okay, just kind of dig it out. I don't want to press it down at this point. I want to open it up, get a nice little trench. I'm going to line that with worm compost. Very good looking stuff. And you kind of spread it along here. Obviously you can't get the top of it flat, so I'll show you in a minute. But just kind of try to get it kind of level. So then I continue covering it over. I actually find it works easier if you just scoop the stuff off to one side, then you don't have to shovel it back in from one side. Now you want to get you need to get a little soil compression under the seeds, because you want the moisture to be able to wick up to your seeds. So now here's why I use my little stick tool. Planting the seeds, I find what I like to do is shake them right out of the container. This is a Trumpeter lettuce. Go down, instead of having a full row of it like you might with carrots, I'll go every few inches and drop a few. You can use coconut coir, peat, whatever. You can use coconut coir, peat, whatever, put over the top. Get yourself just a little layer over the top. Helps mark the row, and it's nice and light. You want something very light to be sure that the seeds can come up through it. So just kind of get that on there. And pat it down a bit. You don't want it to blow off, and when you water it, you also don't want it to just wash off. So kind of get it packed in there, get the seeds settled in there. He didn't seem intent on staying here. You go down the other way, there's nothing up this direction for him. Cute little critter. I love snakes. It's all planted. And the few gallons of compost I have is all used up. I should note that I have a no worm left behind policy. A small garden this summer because of going in for surgery here in, well, a few weeks. I get my hips replaced. All right, here, low garden. Time to check out some aftermath from last night. Well, we had a couple of, say stray dogs, lost dogs. Lost dogs. They, one of them was a large, I think it was a lab mixed with a Rottweiler, and the other one was a puppy. They were together. And poor things were out and cold and hungry, and I guess they'd been looking for a place to crash, and they were able to get through my fences up on the top and then jump down and then got into this garden, and they just tore it up. So dug it up and things. So I mean, you can see the holes already made in the cover. Oh boy, life. Well, let's peruse the damage here. Looks like this first section's got some parts wiped out, but I think it'll be able to come back out. This section here is pretty much toast. The back part there, they're all wiped out. Whole center section, and then they dug a big old hole here. I gotta see this wild lettuce. Isn't that something? It's a tower of lettuce. Yeah, they're trying to bolt, and they're just going nuts. These were planted actually in the fall, and I was able to keep them covered over the wintertime. It wasn't warm enough at the end of fall when I planted them. It was a pretty cold winter, so it just wasn't warm enough for them to really get up and get harvested before wintertime set in. So anyway, isn't that great? It's like 3.5 feet tall. Still tastes fine. It's just not eating it fast enough, really. Gotta get it out of here. Didn't do too much damage in that section. See over here, they knocked down some kale. There's one of these tall lettuces. Oh, that one's a goner. I think I'll just heave-ho that one over the hill. That's all dirty and nasty now. Could be eaten, but I've already got plenty of lettuce in there, so let's get rid of that. Just have to pull some of this stuff. Oh, no. Oh, look at these poor tomatoes. Put these in the 1 week we had some decent sunshine. What, 3 weeks or so ago? A month ago? Yeah, I don't know. It's been, 3 or 4 weeks. So yeah, we had a nice and sunny week, and then, we went back to winter. And this bed has been just beat on by, I think, 3 thunderstorms we've had. Tons of rain. And now having the dog come tromp through everything. This is garlic. It's been all smashed down. Yeah, let's just see what we can salvage. Well, luckily that tomato plant at least wasn't uprooted. Thanks, you little diggers. Well, I did want a small garden this year, since going in for the surgery here next month. May end up being a little smaller garden than I had imagined. Oh my. Ooh, wiped out that pepperoncini. I think they got all kind of panicky when they were in here. Oh, this is the part I was worried about the most. My peppers! Oh! Well, at least so far, these are just flattened, and it doesn't seem like the stalks are broken, so they might come out of it. Okay, time to fill in the hole. I don't know where the dirt went. Didn't go over the edge. I know some of it went over there. That's probably why those are buried. I'm going to see if I can unbury those, see if I can get down to some plants that are savable. Okay, time to turn off the camera. Get to work. Alright, in the low garden. Out here tending things. Been kind of busy up with much else today. The tomatoes have actually taken off. I didn't have the cages on them yet. So a little tip, if you're putting a cage on after the tomatoes are shot up a bit, good way of doing that is take your tie down material, and I basically made a loop in it and went around the whole bundle of the tomato and kind of bundled it up towards the middle, kind of tied it down so it was more vertical, and then that allowed me to slip the cage over it. Then I could take that back off again and start getting it strung up, heading up the trellis. Some of the smaller ones were just going straight up, but this one and this one here had started shooting out to the side. I already got some little green tomatoes on there, so that's a nice start. The arugula is starting to pop up. I like to see my peppers down there taking off, but they're look pretty static. Really not doing that well. Basil's doing terribly, so I don't really know what's going on this year with this. They're trying to go to seed. Look at this, you get the seed pod. You want to take those off. They actually taste pretty good. Breath freshener. A little hot though. What's that? So here's the peppers. Like I say, so far they look a little sickly. I know the ground's dry. I actually let it intentionally to go dry on top. Produces a pest problem. Now I'm about to give it a good watering. Put down some organic fertilizer. Now I'll water it in. Deer and the antelope play. Oh yeah, let's get back to my project. Yeah. All right, signing off on the low garden. Videos coming up quickly on the upper garden. We've also got some videos on the water supply and a couple other videos coming up down the pipe. So stay tuned and please tell a friend. Thank you all the loyal subscribers, and please tell a friend, let some others know. Come out and let's do some relentless homesteading. RH here, signing off. Hasta la Projecto.